The White House says Russia's threat to invade Ukraine is imminent. More than 150,000 Russian troops assembled at new bases along the Ukrainian border. President Biden met the National Security Council tonight, and he's agreed to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin only if he holds off on an invasion. So what does this all mean? How does it affect Americans? Our Pepper Baker talked with a local expert. Pepper.
And Ukraine is closer than ever to joining the 30 member states that include countries between North America and Europe in the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or what we know as NATO. Russia's President Vladimir Putin sees a potential NATO hub set up in Ukraine as a threat to his country's military and political power. Assistant Professor of International Relations at Webster University, Danny Bello, says this conflict is about the broader security architecture in Europe. Moscow's perspective sees Ukraine's addition to NATO as a red line. They believe stationing NATO forces, which would include American forces in Ukraine, would undermine Russia's military capability in Eastern Europe, the Black Sea, and the Baltic region. The Kremlin says Ukraine's membership would violate NATO's agreement with the Soviet Union to stop expanding further east. If Russia conducts either a limited or a large-scale military operation, Professor Bello says Ukraine will not receive aid from NATO forces. He explains how the United States would potentially be involved.
The likely scenario is a round of sanctions. Again, the question of the effectiveness of sanctions has been raised time and time again, but this is likely what we will see. People in the U.S. shouldn't fear a draft. It is in no one's interest to go into a direct confrontation with Russia because, again, we're talking about a nuclear power. The likely scenario is an escalation of tensions through sanctions.
Bello says the most effective conflict resolution in relation to Russia is diplomacy. Millions of Ukrainian civilians and people in the two territories of the Donbass will be at risk if this results in war. Bello said it would be one of Eastern Europe's greatest humanitarian catastrophes in the post-Cold War era.